well, here we are, looking at Rebel's to-do list. From the beginning, we added a lot more, but I did get the charging system all figured out, so we can scratch that. Tires I have sorted, inside wheel weights I have sorted, but I'm just waiting for those keyways to arrive. So we can say that Rebel, other than those wheel weights, is done. And I grabbed these. They are called, I think, torque to yield nuts, and they have a little taper to them. And let's see if we can get the zoom a little better. So they have a taper to them, but they're also pinched down in 3 spots. So as you tighten them, they kind of they lock down by themselves. Well, I took a 9/16 20 tap and chased those out, and voila, they have lug nuts. So they fit the wheels pretty well, just like that, and that's good. So with, let's see, where'd they go? They're underneath. I can't believe it. We got a senior in here. So these bolts are just a little bit long. So I got a stack of 9/16 grade 8 washers. And so I will do a bunch of washers, maybe 4 to 8 of them on each stud. Bolt those wheels, or the wheel weights, onto the back side of those hubs, and that'll make studs. So as soon as those keyways show up, we can finish Rebel. And that's that. So on to Joe. Now Joe, check those out. Joe's got a long list of things to do. I've got the engine and transmission drained. The hydraulics, I can cross that out. They are good to go. I do need to check the hydraulic fluid on both tractors. And so tires, check this out. I brought this up in Peacemaker Jack's thread a while back, but these are 27 750 12s. And these are Interco Interforce tires. And look at those lugs. They're fairly affordable compared to, say, your farm specialist or anything like that. And they've got plenty of aggressive lug going on. So I had to change to 5-bolt hubs from a smaller tractor. And I'm running 12-inch wheels on Joe. This is something that I came up with. I posted on Peacemaker Jack's thread, and little does everybody else know, but he got a set too for one of his Cub Cadets. So we're gonna see how these work. But I tubed them, and I used this little transfer pump on a drill to pump just used antifreeze into those tires. This one is done, and it's jacked up here, and so I'm going to fill the transmission while it's up on that angle, and then swap to the other side. And I should be able to put, I think I put about 9 gallons, 8 or 9 gallons in there, and that thing is heavy. So I'll try to get that on video and show what I did and how I did it. So it seems my little transfer pump system didn't seal very well to the valve stem, and I think I filled the tire up and not the tube. So as I put a little air pressure in the tube, it's just blowing all this coolant back out between the tube and the tire. Yay me. Alright, That's not terrible. I can live with that. So I just blew as much air into it as I dare. There's plenty of pressure. I'm not going to check it with a gauge, but it feels firm, and that's all I want. I don't want those lugs folding over, but I don't necessarily want so much air that it rides rock hard. So I want a little bit of give. So that'll work. Now it's time to do this side, and I will definitely work on sealing that valve stem a little better. So right here I've got a 7/16 20 tap and 7/16 those torque to yield nuts, and it threads on most of the way, but I just want to just chase it a little bit, you know, like that. And I don't even really need to spin a lot of pressure on. It just cuts like half a thread on those 3 spots and makes it into an open lug nut. And those are going to work really well on this 5-bolt 5-lug tractor now too. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but that tractor just fell off that jack. I had the jack so far outboard to lift that tire back up when it was loaded that it was not stable. So just a good reminder, use jack stands whenever you're underneath a vehicle or a tractor or anything else. I wasn't too concerned about it because I wasn't going underneath it, but if it would have fallen without that wheel secure, that would have been a hard way to pick it back up. So just a good reminder. So this part of the video is going to be my little instructional on my I'm gonna say newfangled way to fill tires and hopefully not make a big old mess this time. So I grabbed some electric tape and wrapped it around that valve stem to the point where my hose fit a whole lot tighter. Now I'm going to take the valve core out and bleed out all the air within reason. These tubes kind of suck the valve stem back in, so I don't want that to happen. I just want to be able to get enough air out to allow some fluid in. And what I'll do is I'll run the drill for a little while and then let it bleed out, and it can just bleed right back through this hose, and it'll be just fine. So I figured I'd mention, as much as I wrapped that valve stem first, it was still leaking a little bit. So I took a wrap of tape around the outside of the hose and maybe like 4 or 5 inches of tape and wrapped it again. And then I'm just going to work on bleeding it here at the hose connection. So I'll pump, and then I'll disconnect that and bleed it off. I will do one video just to watch how quick that fluid does go down in the bucket. You can kind of see the scum line from a little bit of oil, and watch this. So in just 30 seconds or less, it went down a little over a ½ inch in the bucket. That's quite a bit of fluid moving at a fast rate. So like I said, I'll be able to put about 8 or 9 gallons in this one tire, and that's one of the reasons that I chose these 27 7.5 12s, is with a smaller diameter wheel I can get more fluid inside, more weight. Alright, I just changed the drill speed to 2. Now watch it go. That's like 2 inches in 30 seconds. That's crazy. So this is my second 5-gallon bucket. And at about 5 gallons, I quit getting air back out of the hose and I just started getting coolant only. So I know that the air is out of the tube and it was shrunk down enough. Now I'm just basically pressurizing, and I mean, the sidewall is getting pretty solid. So I'm going to pump until I can't pump anymore. And I know that when I disconnect this hose, it's going to be shooting out like a geyser. So with that said, I will have that core and that tool ready. And so this will be like a quick change, and I'm just going to pull that hose off and jam that core in there as fast as I can and lose as little fluid as I can. And this one is being so successful, I'm probably going to end up taking that one back off, bleed out any air, and do the same thing by just cramming it full as I can with as much fluid as I can. Oh, I'm to the point now where it's starting to pressurize past that tape and out of all the seals in the pump. And so now is the time to do this. But you can see right there's the level of coolant. And so I probably got at least seven gallons in this tire. But like I said too, it's darn near rock solid. So here we go. This is going to be messy. I'm well aware of that. But the goal is fast, just to minimize the loss of coolant. So I'm going to push on this while I loosen the clamp. And remember that hose is also taped on, so hopefully I can just kind of maybe twist it apart. Oh boy, this is going to be real messy. Uh-oh. Oh boy. Uh-oh. I'm nervous. All right, well. Well, I guess it could have been worse. It got me pretty good, but I didn't lose too much. So, definitely a success. Definitely. So, I'm going to call that, I'm going to call that one done. That is so much heavier than this tire. So, I definitely need to redo this one. but like I can hardly squat it by putting my weight on it because there's actually pressure inside that. So good deal, no air. Well, I made a big old mess, but I got them both done the same way, and this thing's going to be heavy enough to plow. I know that. I plowed with Hot Wheels last year with just the truck tires, and they're a pretty aggressive tire for a truck, but they just loaded up. Otherwise, it was heavy enough in stock form. So both of these tractors with ags are going to do great. I know that. Well, there we have it. I got one tractor done. The only thing on my list of things to do that I did not accomplish was a kill switch. But there's a little wire down there I can ground out, and that'll be good enough. I did take the gearbox off and put a hacked up updraft air cleaner on. Something's got to be better than nothing. So there we go. That's one tractor ready, and we're close on the other one.